Thank you for joining us on Capitol Views. I'm Leslie Miyamoto Huffman. I have with me here today Assemblymember Henry Perea. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Great, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about your district. You are in the Central Valley.
I am. So the district is a very diverse district. Half of it is urban Fresno, and the other half is rural Fresno County and a little bit of northern Tulare County. So it's while the issues may be similar in many ways, the approach that I take to the issues can be very different. In the rural areas, you have issues of extremely high unemployment. There are some cities in my district that have a 48% unemployment rate.
Wow.
And there are others that are doing a little bit better than that, but I think across the board, the unemployment rate is very high in the district. So we have lots of challenges,
Sure.
but it's a very large district. It runs from the I-5 all the way out to Orosi in Tulare County, which is, a very large, very long stretch. And so it's a diverse district, but a great district, a very independent district.
So does it make it challenging to prioritize because the district is so diverse?
It does, but during the campaign, I traveled the entire district. I knocked on doors in every town in the district, so that gave me a good chance to really, learn how to manage my time better and get to one end of the district and really make it work. So
talk to me. I know that you are the youngest elected official over at the Capitol. You also held office at a very young age, 25, sitting on the Fresno City Council. Where did this hunger or where did this interest in politics begin?
Well, I think on Sundays when most families would sit around the table together talking about sports or what happened that day, my family would talk about politics. And that was just kind of a natural. So I really grew up in it with my father served as the first Latino elected to the Fresno County Board of Education, then on to the City Council, and is currently a member of the Board of Supervisors. My mother just retired from the DA's office as an investigator. However, she was very involved in union politics through her police association. So growing up, I got to hear two very different views. My father being a very moderate Democrat, my mother being a little bit more liberal. So politics was in the family. However, I found my way through and my passion in politics and government through an internship with the former congressman named Cal Dooley from the Central Valley.
Okay.
He gave me an opportunity to intern with him in Washington, D.C., which just really opened up my eyes in many ways. In fact, it was the first time I'd ever been out of Fresno. Sure, we took trips as a family to the mountains or to the beach, but this was the first time I'd actually seen a different part of the country.
And a different energy in Washington.
A different energy, and it was just a whole different way of life. And so it was just a real eye-opener for me to see how things run. And so that internship for me is really, I think, the spark that really led me into my path into politics and government.
So can you share with me some of your accomplishments at the City Council level?
Sure. Well, let me say that I had a blast serving as a council member, even though I was the youngest, and certainly I think because I was the youngest, I had a lot to prove. So I took my job very seriously and really wanted to prove to not only my constituents but the city that somebody in my generation at that age, could handle the job. So I took on some very big issues.
Okay.
So two issues that I'm particularly proud of. Two things. Number one was some housing projects that I led in downtown Fresno. One of the issues I think in cities all across America is we're trying to figure out how to reverse the trends of suburbia and the strip mall and reinvest.
Bringing things back in.
Right. Do more infill housing and how we really build up our downtown. And so I took that on as an initiative, and so I got our first housing project done in over 40 years.
Wow.
In downtown Fresno.
Okay.
So that was really exciting, but what made that fun is that we put together a group of young developers. And so we had 20-something developers that kind of came in, took a risk that was very successful, and now, 4 years later, we're up to 6 or 7 of those projects. So downtown Fresno is really changing, and I feel very honored and pleased to be a part of the initial effort to do that. And so that's one particular area. And the second was solar energy.
Okay.
I led our city's first effort or rather first project, solar energy project in our city's history, and it was such a success that we've done 4 since. So those are issues that are near and dear to my heart in terms of revitalization and using
it's alternative
energy.
And
oh, absolutely. and I think about the future and making sure that we're being a progressive city. And so I was very proud to be part of those. And so I bring that energy now to the state capitol.
Right.
But
you're still the young guy at the state capitol. Do you have something to prove? Do you feel that way as well?
I think I do. I think that when you're the young guy in the room, there's always a little bit of skepticism and folks who may think you're a little wet behind the ears. But I do come to the Capitol with 8 years of experience on City Council and also serving as council president. But now I'm going to be given a new chance to prove myself in a new arena. And so I was honored to be appointed chair of Revenue and Taxation Committee by Speaker Perez, which is a very big committee. And I think we're going to be in the eye of the storm during this budget process, especially when we're talking about issues like redevelopment agencies, enterprise zones, and just the tax code in general and how it relates to the budget. And so I'm going to have an opportunity to get knee deep into those and also, once again, prove myself that I'm ready to handle this job.
So tell me a little bit more about some of the priorities that you'll be working on at the state level.
Well, one issue that I'm particularly passionate about is high-speed rail. And what I'm excited about is that the federal government, as well as the High-Speed Rail Authority, has chosen the Central Valley to be the first route to be built on the entire section. And so I'm real excited that Fresno is going to be at the center of that, which is over $4 billion of investment.
We were just talking about how hard it is to get to Fresno, right?
It is.
By plane. And
it is. It's not that easy. I mean, there have been times when I wanted to fly from Fresno to San Diego, and I had to go up to San Francisco first. There was even one time I was routed out to Vegas.
Wow.
And then down to San Diego.
Doesn't make it easy.
No, it doesn't. And so we need to find alternative modes of transportation to move people throughout the state. And so high-speed rail is going to be one of those.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about your family? Are you comfortable with that?
Absolutely.
So tell me about your wife. You're married.
Yeah, so married 4 years. My wife and I have been together for 8 years. We met when she was working for the ABC affiliate in Fresno. And I was in my first year in the city council, and she had to call and schedule interviews all the time, and we just hit it off so well that through the course of time we met, and I've been now married for 4 years, and it's great. My wife is from Los Angeles, from the city of Linwood, but came to Fresno after graduating from Loyola Marymount for her first job in media, and so she has, of course, been there ever since.
So how has she adapted to living in Fresno?
It's different for her. I mean, she grew up in Los Angeles, which is a very large urban area, and Fresno's 500,000 people. It's it's not a small city, but when you come from LA to Fresno, it's a little bit smaller. So she had to adjust, and but now she's she loves it. She's part of she's part of the community, and just really active, very engaged in local nonprofits and boards, and so I think now that she's much more involved in the community, she's much more excited and to be there. So.
And you're a young father.
We just had our first baby. Her name is Ava Isabella. She's 6 months old. And I love many things about my daughter, but the one thing I appreciate the most is that she started sleeping through the night at 2 months.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You are a lucky man.
Yes.
That must have been challenging, though, to have a pregnant wife on the campaign trail running for office.
It was very tough.
Starting a young family. Yeah.
It was tough. We had to make a lot of sacrifices, and my wife was very understanding in terms of my time, because there were many nights when I would get home late after doing debates or out at events. So my wife did a great job. She did a great job in holding down the fort until we got through the campaign, and so I told her that I'd take her on a nice trip. So we got to figure that out.
So where'd you go? Oh, you haven't
we
gone
haven't
anywhere
gone
yet.
No.
Well, hello. Are you staying somewhere in California, or you're thinking you're going
wherever
outside?
she wants to go?
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Very nice. So tell us a couple things about yourself that people don't know.
That people don't know. Well, I love to cook.
Oh.
So
favorite recipe?
I don't
favorite thing to cook?
I love to cook Italian food, and I cook a lot of Mexican food, and so.
And did you learn that from your mom, your dad?
I learned that from my mother. So my mother, before she became an investigator with the DA's office, she had to go to the police academy. So she would work full time, and then she'd go to the police academy at night. So if I wanted to eat when I got home from school, I had to cook myself. And so, I grew up as an only child, and so my mother taught me how to cook, and I just developed a love for it. And so, naturally in high school, worked in a lot of restaurants, did a lot of that kind of work, and that's how I paid my way through college. through restaurant work, construction work, and doing other things. And so it's just something that I love to do.
All right, and I understand you have 4 rescue dogs.
Tell
me.
It sounds
4 rescue dogs and a brand new baby. Wow.
It sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but once they're trained, it's very manageable. So yeah, we do have a soft spot for rescue dogs in our household.
And tell me about balancing all of this so far. Has it been a challenge?
Well, we're into week 2 of really, getting into the work.
Still feel like a vacation or a new job, or
it still feels like a new job. But I was talking to my wife on the phone last night and just say, hey, how are you holding up?
Right.
We're a week and a half into this thing, and she's doing great. I mean, obviously we need to do all that we can to support each other. But it is tough being up here 4 or 5 days a week and then going home for 2 days and then coming back up.
Right.
So it's hard, but we know we're adjusting well, and I'm just very fortunate to be part of the legislature, because not everybody gets to be in this position to to make laws that will hopefully better our state, and so I'm very proud and very fortunate to be here.
Now, I know that your love kind of blossomed when you were back in Washington, D.C. Is that somewhere where you would like to return? Do you think that you would pursue higher office?
I was always told to never say never. So I'll always leave the option open, but certainly something that I'm not actively working towards. However, if opportunities come up, then certainly going to take a look at those.
And what are you most excited about working over in the Capitol?
I'm excited about making change. I'm excited about working with my colleagues on issues that we can mutually agree on, and really making a difference for not only for us, but for my daughter and her generation. And so I'm real excited to play an active role in developing what the state will look like.
I feel like so many people think change isn't very realistic. That's really hard. So how do you become a change agent?
I think you got to do a couple of things. I think number one, you just got to be a hard worker. You got to be willing to put in the time. But number two, you have to be willing to develop relationships, because so much of what happens in the state capitol is about being able to communicate your message and having the relationships to move an agenda. And so I think having those three things are very important, and those are 3 areas that I work on every day.
Right. Okay. Well, it was so nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in and joining us on Capitol Views.
Well, thanks for having me. I
appreciate it.
All right,
and best of luck to you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks for watching Capitol Views. We'll see you next time.